Hello, my name is Giselle, and today we're going to discuss whether or not it is ethical for a same-sex marriage couple to adopt children. Every day, there's a growing number of gay men and lesbians who are adopting children in the United States. At least half of them providing families and for boys and girls from foster care, and 60% of them adopting transracially. This is according to the results of an extensive survey by the Evan B. Donaldson Adoption Institute. Interestingly, male couples more often reported having been chosen because of their sexual orientation than did lesbians, explaining that the birth mother expressed a desire to remain the child's only mother. About one-third of the adoptions by lesbian and gay men were open, and the birth family's initial reactions regarding sexual orientation were very positive. Over 10% of the children were of the age of 6 or older, which is perceived as a population more difficult to place, and 25% of the children were at least 3 years old. All of these children have diverse needs. Therefore, child welfare agencies need to have a diverse pool of foster parents who can provide temporary, loving care for the children as they await permanency. Approximately 408,000 children were in foster care in the United States as of June 2011. Out of those 408,000 children, 107,000 are waiting to be adopted. These children have been in foster care for an average of 37 months. In most cases, LGBT individuals became parents without disclosure or discussion of their sexual or gender orientation with adoption and foster care agencies. This is often due to concerns about whether agencies would be open to work with LGBT prospective parents. For many LGBT people, foster parenting and adoption is not a second choice, as it may be for heterosexual and women who are infertile, but rather a first choice. Although LGBT adults can have and have been historically discouraged from fostering or adopting, changes in legislation and policy over the past 10 years in some states reflect a more open attitude towards them as parents. Now, about the ethical aspects of this matter, we have to consider the LGBT disclosure to agencies. Agencies under use of LGBT prospective parents may be driven by multiple factors, including legal or policy restrictions in the past or still in effect against LGBT adults becoming foster or adoptive parents, misinterpretation of policies, or perceived barriers to agencies being able to approve LGBT individuals for foster care or adoption, personal attitudes and biases about LGBT prospective parents. The reality is that child welfare agencies are already working with LGBT prospective and current parents, whether they know it or not. This is a good thing because LGBT population explores the process of becoming foster and adoptive parents more extensively. Agencies seek relatives and other adults who may be permanency options for children in foster care. LGBT population do not trust that they will be treated fairly and welcomed by child welfare agencies, so they don't self-identify to them. Now, according to a 2007 report from the Urban Institute, LGBT adults are already fostering and adopting. Gay and lesbian parents are raising 3% of foster children in the United States, and an estimated 2 million gay, lesbian, and bisexual people are interested in adopting. Now, reaching out and welcoming and supporting LGBT prospective foster and adoptive parents does actually more than simply increase the number of potential parents for children in foster care. It may also provide agencies with foster and adoptive families who bring special strengths to the challenges of parenting children who have experienced and persevere actually through abuse, neglect, loss, and isolation. This is highlighted in findings from Adopt US Kids 2010 study called Barriers and Success Factors in Adoptions from Foster Care. LGBT families can bring particular strengths to parenting children in foster care. These strengths can be that they can relate to adopted children's feelings and differentness, that the adoption decision is very intentional for them, that for LGBT families, adoption is most often their first choice, meaning that they really, really want this. LGBT parents may be more resourceful and may know where to find help. LGBT parents may be more aware of support systems, and they can expose children to a diverse world and acceptance of differences in people. They also have the ability to scan one's environments for safety, which is a valuable skill for children and youth in foster care to develop. LGBT foster parents have learned to navigate a potentially negative child welfare system to be able to parent, demonstrating an ability to overcome barriers. Foster parents who are LGBT identified have well-developed support systems, effective skin, and biological kin. LGBT foster parents are not usually bound by rigid gender roles or roles in the home. Now, talking a little bit about the law, 24 states in DC allow same-sex couples to both be equal parents of the same child. Although in some states, depending on whether a couple has a legally recognized relationship or jointly decided to conceive a child, both mothers can appear on the birth certificate from the moment of birth. We have to keep in mind that gay male couples do not have that option, and except in an assisted reproduction matter in a few states, one will have to adopt. In many states, only one partner of a same-sex couple can be a legal parent. Those situations can lead to all sorts of bad outcomes. Someone who has held herself out to be a parent not being recognized as such by a hospital or school, to the extreme examples of which there are many, where the bio or legal mother has cut off all contact with the non-bio or non-legal mother after a tumultuous breakup. Now, all states permit joint adoption by married couple as a result of the 2015 U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Obergefell versus Hodges, where married same-sex couples throughout the United States are now permitted to marry and are thus permitted to adopt jointly. This legal case, in which the United U.S. Supreme Court ruled on June 26 of 2015, it states bans on same-sex marriage and on recognizing same-sex marriages duly performed in other jurisdictions are unconstitutional under the Due Process and Equal Protection Clauses of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. However, there are several states that have laws permitting state licensed child welfare agencies to discriminate against LGBT people, including married couples. Other states have laws prohibiting discrimination by adoption agencies and officials based on sexual orientations or gender identity. Although in the states where there is no law against discrimination, an adoption agency could discriminate against a same-sex couple without any sort of consequences. Generally, lawmakers are no more ignorant than the general public about this type of issues. That said, some legislators are driven by open hostility to LGBT people. If a same-sex couple lives in a state where they can both become legal parents, at the time of the divorce, no extra weight should be given to the person who is the biological parent or the parent who adopted first. Many states lack a legal framework to recognize our families and may not apply to the existing legal rules to resolve disputes about parental responsibilities or dividing property. Going to court can be damaging to the real relationship that a family has nurtured for many years. And this actually applies for LGBT couples and for heterosexual couples. It can also create a negative precedent or disrespect that will haunt other LGBT families for years to come. Now, as a conclusion, we can determine that it is ethical for a gay couple marriage to adopt children. Why? Because at the end of the day, they have many strengths that can benefit the children, and it's better loving family since it's their first choice. they will definitely want this. They will become loving parents. And for the children to have a loving parent rather than being stranded in a foster agency is much better than everything else. That was everything for my part. My name is Giselle Suarez. If you have any questions or comments regarding the presentation, you can always come and ask me. And thank you for your attention.